Hey everybody, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. Click! How's it going today? Haven't used this mug for a while and it just makes me so happy. Everybody is welcome here. Everybody is welcome here. So I hope you're doing well today. I'm having a little decaf coffee this afternoon. I have 4 cups of coffee a day, but they're pretty weak. So if you think 4 is a lot, it's really not. Ask my sister or my husband. It's like drinking water. But I do 2 cups of regular coffee in the morning and 2 cups of decaf because I just really like the warm and the butter that I put in there. But I used to do cream, but now I'm doing butter. And anyways, so that's what's in my cup today. We have a lot to talk about today, so I should stop talking about coffee. So I've got a few things about Trump that I think are amazing to mention. One that's very funny about him, not something he said that was funny. And we'll talk a little bit about the next action day. I have a great comment from a community member that I want to share regarding the LTC, which is, I think, a really good perspective and something interesting to consider. And then we are going to talk about, we've got 3 messages again for August. Okay, this is the second 3 messages. So this is message 4, 5, and 6 for August. If you missed the first one, I will post it at the end of this video right here in the corner. Okay, so so check that out. That was really helpful, extremely helpful for me. In fact, I'm going to share an activity that I just came up for the Spirit Circle. I will share it with you in case you want to do it outside of the Spirit Circle if you're not able to join us in the membership. And if you are, you'll be able to, if you're in the Spirit Circle, the advantage of that would be because I have some printouts and I'm going to go through the way I'm filling this activity out. So that's kind of the difference, but I'll tell you what the activity is and you could do it on your own as well as kind of a healing activity. And then we'll do the 3 messages for today. All right. For August again. All right. So this again is the second 3 and we have 3 more that I'll come back on Sunday and we'll do those. Okay. All right. So did you guys see that when Trump went to Scotland, that there was a nice big old protest? It was amazing. Thank you, Scotland. Woo woo. It was in Edinburgh. Never been, but would love to go. Plan on going sooner than later. And not only that, and I don't know how much of this, I heard a couple of people talk about this. So there's one video that Tabitha Speaks Politics. If you haven't seen Tabitha Speaks Politics, I'll post her videos or her channel below. But she showed how Trump was giving I don't know, he was just talking. He was like standing outside of a building and he was talking. And these bagpipes were playing. And all you could hear was, well, 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 well. I mean, you couldn't even hear them actually because the bagpipes were so loud. And apparently I did hear somebody else mention this and that the bagpipe, whoever was playing the bagpipes was like following him around. Oh my God. So they just could not hear him, which is amazing. I mean, it's bad enough we have to look at him. The second worst thing is when you have to hear his voice. So anyways, I thought that was amazing news. That was fun. Okay. Did you guys realize that the next action day is already this Saturday, which is amazing. I'm glad that's only 2 weeks from the last one. So August 2nd. So make sure you go on to 5051, spell it out, FIFTY, 5051. I'll link it below. I just got to make myself a note. And look up and see where something's happening in your area if you want to participate. Okay. So 5051. Okay. It's a little interesting, the name of this one. Let me look it up again because I don't know. I'm not totally thrilled by this is the first time that they have used something negative in the language of the title for this. I think it's like protest with rage or something. I don't know. Hang on a second. Yeah, they're using the title Rage Against the Regime. And I don't know if someone's just trying to be cute, like a play on words, rage and regime, just because it's an R and an R. I'm not sure. But this is the first time that, I mean, they promote peaceful protesting, right? Violence of any kind will not be tolerated, but yet they use the word rage in the title. It just makes no sense to me. So that's just a personal opinion. So if you can get past that, still think it's a good idea, obviously, but rage against, I don't know. So find an event. There are so many events again, which is amazing. I love it. So I love the fact that it was only 2 weeks. Last time it was like a month, and I feel like that, just kind of felt that they, I don't know, lost a little momentum. So anyways, okay. That's that. So you know how I had asked my team if we were to give our collective community a name, I asked them what the collective name would be. Okay, so all the spirit teams of our collective community, and they had spelled on the pendulum LTC, where they had spelled Lead Team Collective. Okay, actually, they call themselves Lead Team. I actually add the collective on there. Okay, so Lead Team, LEAD. And so I've been saying, because this is what they told me using the dowsing rods, but this is a really interesting perspective. And actually, I'm going to encourage this. Okay. So thank you, whoever wrote this in. I don't see your name on your comment. So it might have come, I don't know if you sent an email to Marcia, but she sent this to me in a picture. But I don't see your name. So thank you for sending this. So a member of our community said, I felt the need to ask if my team was in this community LTC. She or he got a response that said no. So the next feeling this person had, he or she wrote, so the next feeling I had, I asked, is that because I have not given permission to have you in the LTC? And they said yes. And he or she wrote, huge yes. So then I asked that if it's for my highest and best good. And they said, he or she said, if it's in my highest and best good, could they please be a part of the LTC going forward? And he or she got a yes. Okay. So I am going to encourage that. Thank you so much for that perspective. I'm actually going to encourage that from now on. I love that. I mean, that didn't even occur to me. And that's just a nice new perspective. That's a miracle. I just had a miracle occur. So, when we talk the LTC from now on, I will encourage each of you, and you can do that right now. You can just say, basically I like the way that this was said. Ask your spirit team if it's in your highest and best interest or good to be a part of the LTC, that if, that you're giving them permission if you want to. Okay. So I'm going to be encouraging that from now on, that give your spirit team permission to be a part of the LTC. And that's totally up to you. Okay. All right. Very good perspective. I love it. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So it's really interesting, as I've been facilitating this community from day one, I've always, if you're new here, one of the things I did and kind of committed to myself is I was always just going to follow my intuition, which really I learned over time was just really following my inner guidance, which was like, my higher self, that sort of thing, rather than letting my ego follow or lead, rather than letting my ego lead, which doesn't mean that's always the case. I absolutely at times let my ego lead. And I can, I'm pretty good at catching myself, but usually after the fact, unfortunately. But it happens, I'm human. So, but what I find very interesting is when I do this and I just I don't worry today. I never even give any thought besides the type of video I'm going to do, whether it's an SG or a pendulum. Usually right now we're doing SG conversations where you guys ask questions. Today or yesterday was Elvis, right? So if you missed Elvis, you really have to see that one. It was really cool. I will post it here at the end of this video. So like that would be an SG, okay, or a pendulum where I would use, a pendulum and a pendulum map and get messages this way, okay, which is what we're doing today, okay? So I don't ever, I know that tomorrow what I'll be, I knew today I'd be recording this one, okay, the pendulum, but I don't even know literally until 30 minutes before kind of what I'm inspired to talk about. And a lot of times the team does lead what we're going to talk about, okay? Because they're answering your questions or the pendulum. So that makes it super easy for me. But there are times where, I get something in front of me, like I've been talking about the Epstein survivors recently, because first it started with just, for the longest time, I didn't even want to touch that topic of Epstein. It just did not, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't touch it. And it's very interesting to me how my spirit, and probably the spirit of the collective overall, not just in the community, but maybe in the community, I can sense, and this may not be for everybody, but I can sense that there has recently been an opening of accepting the information. And that's what, for me, there was. So then I was like, boom, okay, it's time, right? And then it moved from just the story of Epstein and the clients and, whoever the perpetrators were to the survivors. And then now I'm moving from the survivors to, and not moving away from the survivors, but the shift is, I can see this line, okay? The shift is from survivor to healing. Okay. And then the shift is from survivor to healing to how do we use that for our own healing? Okay. So I can see, and it's very interesting because if you go back to the messages for August, the first 3 messages, it became very clear the theme for those 3 messages, at least. We'll see what happens today with the next 3. That the whole last 2 months, how many times, if you've been around the community, how many times we've gotten cards and messages from the pendulum about taking care of yourself, take care of yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Constant. It was constant, right? We were getting them all the time, which is great. They were reminding us. Yesterday, going into August, it is shifting. It is so apparent that it is shifting, and it's shifting from take care of yourself to stand in your power. That's where it's shifting to. That it was very obvious in the 3 messages that we talked about yesterday, okay, or 2 days ago, okay? So I just got chills because it's just so interesting. I can see how they're taking, I don't want to say taking care of us, but they're really helping us get through this period of time in such a fantastic way. And you guys have been amazing because you know how many times they have said, don't just wait, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, right? But there's a reason why they're doing that. And there's a reason for the constant love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. And now I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting more and more stand in your power because we're ready for that. And you know why we're ready to deal with the Epstein situation, which is global and a huge effing mess, okay? And it's been going on for a very long time. And I think this entire period has had, I think this is a very prominent issue. That honestly, the MAGA was already into this, okay, understanding this. They just thought that Trump was going to be their savior rather than one of the, cut, clear, cancel, or at least entertainment purposes only, one of the, well, I'm not going to say it. I better not. At least related with the situation, okay? So So I find that I can see the shifting. I can see it. And I love, you know me, I love the big picture. Like when I finally like, boom, I got it, you know? Oh my gosh, I can see it. And we're only going to be able to see it as we will look backwards, right? So yesterday, or sorry, 2 days ago when we did the the August messages, okay? One of the cards we got was mosaic. Okay. And I was like, I got to keep this card out because in the spirit circle, one of the things that we're working on is a deeper dive on healing fears, healing our fear-based thoughts and emotion, or healing our fear-based thoughts and feelings. Okay. That's one of the things that came up in our book that we were reading. Okay. And we wanted, as a community in the spirit circle, we wanted to do a deeper dive on that. But I've been waiting for the inspiration. It didn't quite come in the timing that I wanted it to, but I was waiting for the inspiration on how to lead the deeper dive on it. Okay. So I get this card yesterday. I'm sorry, I keep saying yesterday, but from the from the first August messages, mosaic. Okay, see the mosaic. So the picture really calls to me, and then when I read it, and this is going to lead into the healing that I was talking about, and it actually relates to not necessarily Epstein, but it relates to this whole trafficking thing too, which is really weird, which is why I can just see how it's all coming together now, especially with our take care of ourselves, because they've been telling us to take care of ourselves because we are moving into a time period where we're going to start finding out some really, really hard stuff. But I can see how if we've been taking care of ourselves, like I'm getting ready to hear those things, which is why I was ready to finally do a call out on Epstein. You see what I mean? And so, however, I don't think I think we're still moving into individual healing. So paying attention to the survivors of any kind of abuse, okay, not just the Epstein stuff, but also caring for ourselves in the trauma that we've had. Now, even if you haven't had like a trauma that would be considered extremely violent, okay, or something where you had to disassociate, okay, or like a trauma, PTSD, which now one of the survivors, Epstein survivors, mentioned PTSI, post-traumatic stress injury, because she likes that better, saying she doesn't have a disorder. She's not disordered. She got injured. Okay. So PTSI, that we all have in different degrees, depending on the makeup of our personality, depending on our past lives and things we brought into this lifetime. Who knows? We might be dealing with PTSI from other lifetimes. Okay. So it doesn't really matter. We probably all have some trauma to be healed. Okay. So we went from moving, and we were doing shadow work in the spirit circle months ago, but that feels a little different. I'm not sure I'll be able to explain it, but it just feels a little different. Okay. So we've got the shadow work we were doing. Now love yourself, take care of yourself. And it's almost like get ready for what's coming. But as society heals its trauma, we individually need to heal our trauma, okay? And that's kind of where I see it shifting right now. Now, that might not resonate with you, and that's totally okay. It's just what's resonating with me right now. So we get this mosaic card, right? Mosaic. And it basically says, I retrieve all the pieces of the past that are calling for acceptance and love. I return to me. Okay. This is going to make sense in a minute. I retrieve all the pieces of the past that are calling. So the pieces of the past, even the trauma stuff, I retrieve all the pieces of the past that are calling for acceptance and love. Okay. And so let's see. I want to see which part. Okay, this card is asking you to zoom in and reflect on each of the tiny parts that make up the intricate mosaic of your journey. So this is like your life, okay? The intricate mosaic of your journey, okay? You will notice that even the pain and the heartbreak were necessary for your growth, adding texture and complexity to the whole, okay? To the whole. So so let's put that aside for a second. Now, I had ordered this book along with two others from Kathy O'Brien, who is a survivor of MK Ultra, which is mind control. Okay. She was mind controlled for 30 years, her first 30 years of her life, as well as her daughter. And a gentleman, I think his name is John. I'm just starting to read it. Okay. Basically got her out of the situation and helped her heal. Okay. So she wrote this book, Time to Heal. All right. And what's fascinating, again, is what's come into my awareness. It's not really, the story is, the story is like mind-boggling and mind-blowing, but that's not really the point. The point is that what I heard her say when I heard her interview, okay, which is fascinating. I will link it below in case you missed it if you want to. It's so, if you don't want to get into like, if you just have to be ready when you watch some of this stuff to make sure your vibration is high. If it's not high, like if you're healing, like if you're physically healing, you're emotionally healing still, and you're not at a higher vibrational place, it's probably not the best thing to be watching. Okay. So, but what I'm learning from her, Time to Heal, which is so amazing, because I had this idea with the mosaic thing, and what they were saying is all pieces of you, even the trauma part, are an important part of your journey. So she then, in a very, very easy way, okay, now you got to remember, she was brainwashed under mind control for 30 years, and a lot of stuff happened to her, okay? Like she ended up doing things illegal because they, had her do stuff illegal, a lot of sexual stuff that was not in her will, okay? So she basically, what this gentleman, what's his name? Oh, I wish I had his name off the top of my head. Like I said, oh no, she does put a thing in here. Mark. Okay, Mark Phillips. Is it Mark? Yeah, I think it's Mark. Okay, so I don't know how, again, I don't know enough about his story yet, but I don't know how he knew to help her heal this way. But so she basically writes about how writing down your trauma, not verbalizing them out loud. What she says, and she's healed herself. So if someone has 30 years of trauma and really doesn't even remember a lot of it, but your mind, Mark was telling her, your mind still does remember it. It's just that you have disassociated from it. Okay. So she then wrote this book because it healed her. Okay. It's a very thin book. Okay. I'll post it below. But one, I wanted to support her. I'm actually buying any of the survive, because I can. It's okay if you can't. I can afford to do that financially, but I want to support any of the survivors if they've written something. But she basically talks about how writing, okay, so all memory should be written out without verbalization. This is a very, very short snippet of this, okay? So it's not going to help you understand the whole thing. I'm just going to take you to why I'm doing these mosaic things, okay? So memory can feel so close that it is as though you've never forgotten it and have already told it to someone. Write it out anyways, and do not verbalize. Every time she tried to verbalize, Mark would say, no, write it down, because apparently when you write it, your left brain is working, and when you're speaking it, it's more, you're sharing your experience, almost like your experience. It's your emotions. It's the difference between logic and the emotions. Okay. So this is what she's teaching. And I thought that is really interesting. All right. So I will be sharing more and more as I read this, if you're interested. But I do think we want to slowly be working on our own trauma at this point. Okay. Which I'm sure we always are, but, I think we're just going to have to, we are going to be, I have a feeling I'm getting a lot of messages, not from just my own guides, but, the spiritual people I listen to, like the messaging is freakishly the same. I'm like, wow, I'm seeing and I know, Faye just sent the August reports, astrology reports. So I'll be incorporating those, coming up too. Okay. So what I'm doing, and again, if you're not in the circle, I just want to show you what I'm doing here. And look, we're already at 25 minutes. Am I even going to get to the messages for maybe I'll do 2 separate videos. I'll probably do 2 separate videos. I'll do this one and then I'll do a message one just to get right to the messages. I don't know. Should I? I don't know. Okay. What I'm doing, so Spirit Circle members, I will do a separate video for you guys, but what we're going to do, well, one idea for people is I made these mosaics, okay, just in Canva. So I made these mosaics. Okay, so you could do the same thing. It's just that Spirit Circle members are going to get these. Okay, so, and the idea would be just like the mosaic here. Okay, so just like the mosaic here. See how there's an outside and then a heart in the center? Okay, so the idea would be is that you would, and you could do this just writing it down too, okay? You would write down things that happened to you or things that were difficult, things that you would consider related to some trauma in your life. And trauma it could be like you just got bullied on the playground. I'm not talking like major PTSD. I'm talking like and you being bullied on the playground and someone else being bullied on the playground could have, one person could be like, oh, F you. And another person, it could have torn them apart for years. It completely depends on your makeup, like, who you are, everything. Okay. So you would write those down. Again, this is just one activity. You would write those things around here. Okay. And this would be your, like they said with this card, your accepted. So we're working on accepting and love that's all a part of the growth of who you are now. Okay. So we'll probably move into the center then and talk about, well, who am I? Who am I now based on these experiences? And one of the things that you can do then is just, I thought I would, once I do these things, I'll probably color them in. And like they'll be underneath, but they don't have to be front and center. Do you know what I mean? So I'll probably write the words out, probably in pencil, and then I'll probably just color over them in pencil or something. So then I can't really see it, even though it's there, or you could just cut. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just totally up to you guys, however you want to do that. So anyways, that's what we're working on in the Spirit Circle. And I wanted to bring it here because it, even though we're going a little deeper in the Spirit Circle, I want everybody to have at least be introduced to the idea of the things that we're working on, so that if you're not in the membership, which is totally, not everybody can do that, at least, you could come up with your own little sheet. Okay. So very interesting. I'm really excited about this. I'm getting really ready to see what the everything, all the shenanigans, way beyond shenanigans, but all the stuff that's been going on. We'll see. Okay. Are you guys ready I'm just going to continue. We'll just continue on this video. It's fine. So message number 4 for August. Message number 4. Let me find my little page here. I started coloring in. Okay, so we've got our messages. See that? I just haven't colored in the GES yet. Okay, so message number 4 is winter coming. Okay. Now I had asked the LTC, so the lead team, okay. And again, give your lead team permission if you're comfortable to be a part of this messaging. Okay. I didn't get the sense of that when I asked for it. I was saying it was just everybody who's hanging out in this community. That was my sense, but I do like the idea of you guys giving permission. So I still think that, I guess it doesn't really matter even if this was just coming from my team, it's still a message. So winter coming. Now, what they said about winter coming when I asked on the dowsing rods is, because I was like, well, what do you mean by winter coming? Do you mean just like it's going to get cold? And they said, no, it was more about, this is about August, because I'm like, winter coming, it's August, Now, if you're in a different hemisphere, that would be different. But it was more darkness. So something, I don't know, there's something they're telling us about August, winter coming. Okay. So this is the deck they wanted me to use. I did only allow them to pick one this time. They'll probably pick like 4 cards now. They only gave me 3. I said, oh, which deck do you want to use for this message? And they only gave me 1. So sometimes I just feel like it's a little too much for me. Like, I'm like, when I first started doing these monthly messages, they would have like 4 decks per message. I'm like, oh my God, which is fine. But I get so tired, like, by the end of the video, I'm like exhausted. I don't know. It just makes me a little too tired. So, okay. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians. That one popped right out of there. The lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light. And ask Archangel Michael to protect my channel, your channel, our community, the lead team collective, so it is only of the highest and purest light. Amen. Okay, so what do you guys want to tell us about winter coming? Now, they did pop 1 card already. What do you want to tell us about winter coming? Let's see if there's anything else. Now, one of the cards we pulled for messages 1 through 3 was they had me use crystals for beginners. It was just a deck that I had. And the crystal they pulled for the month was green opal. No, green emerald. Let me just double check. Was it green emerald? No, it was opal. Green opal. I'm glad I double checked that. I was thinking it was green emerald. Was it opal? Write down opal. Now I got to double check that. You guys probably remember. Which was it? Green opal or green emerald? Anyways, I was going to go to the rock store today and get it because I don't think I have it. So, because I want to load up on it. That's that's what they want us to use for August. So, okay. So you guys, is this the only card you want me to read for winter coming? Yes. Do you want me to pull any other card from the deck? No. Okay. Okay, winter coming. Oh, interesting. Become your own priority. Become your own priority. There are a lot of messages within the spiritual community and otherwise about sovereignty, about how we need to take care of ourselves, our family, and our small community, and stop relying on the billionaires and to make all the decisions about stuff. And I can see, and that is actually true for going into the 5D and the golden future. So become your own priority. It's a very interesting message. Winter coming, become your own priority. Okay, number 13. So that's a 4. 13, 1 plus 3 is 4. Become your own priority. Okay. Put yourself first. Okay. It is not selfish to prioritize yourself, and in fact, it is self-care. So they're still asking us to do self-care. It does not mean that you won't prioritize others, but it does mean that you are setting time aside to fill up your own cup and replenish your own energy so you have more to give. Take yourself on a solo date somewhere that fills your soul. Get a message to unwind. Oh, a massage. Massage. To unwind, go to an art gallery to get inspired, or go for a long walk in nature to reconnect. The healthiest relationships belong to those who prioritize themselves and then come together to evaluate each other. Elevate each other. Evaluate each other. It's funny. The healthiest relationships belong to those who prioritize themselves and then come together to elevate each other. Turn your focus inward and prioritize your needs. Okay? So winter coming. What are you guys getting from that? So it says, every week put time aside for a nourishing solo date. Make sure you have everything rescheduled for that time. So when you are on your date, your focus is on you and you alone. Maybe that's what it means, like winter coming, like not necessarily darkness, but inner, winter coming. Because you know what happens during winter? We slow down, right? I feel way more peaceful. Like it's raining today and I'm like, oh, it's nice that it's raining today. Because if it's nice out or if it's warm out, I feel like I should be outside and going to the pool and, getting some sun and, so I do like it. I actually do prefer winter. I like summer, but when I have things I want to do like this, I'd rather, be inside doing it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of wondering if winter coming, and again, this is for August, if it does have to do with this going deeper inside because of all the things I just talked about, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think about that? So I am going to put for winter coming for my book. I need my orange pen. I'm doing it in 2 different colors. So I am going to put, spend time within. Spend time within. That sure feels better than like something dark coming. Spend time within. Okay, so like healing, resting, meditating, you know what I mean? Spend time within. So yeah, let me know what you guys are putting down for winter coming. How did you interpret that and what feels right to you? Okay, so that's that. So the next message is, let me just put this one. If I don't move this stuff around, it slides all over the place. Okay, I'll put it away. So that was Intuitive Whispers. Did I even show you guys that? Intuitive Whispers. It's an amazing deck. Okay, so the next message is, and I think this one is a little bit more political, but I don't know. Just might happen. This is, again, they're encouraging us. I think they continue to let us know things are moving, which I actually, you guys have heard me say, why do they keep telling us and then nothing happens? I think there's a very good reason for that, is to just keep letting us know, don't worry, it's, things are moving. Because they were very clear in June that it was going to be July. So, but you know how timelines are. So just might happen. Okay, so what do they mean? I'm just going to ask real quick because I haven't asked about this. So when you guys say just might happen on the pendulum, is that a political message that you're talking about? Just might happen? Okay, is that referring to Trump by chance? Yes. Okay, so yes and yes on both. Okay, so you are referring to Trump. Yes. Okay, so just might happen. Okay, so they wanted me to use the magic of unicorns to get a message for this one. Just might happen. Okay. All right, you guys. So what message do you have for just might happen? What do you want to tell us about that? Ah. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Just might happen. Anybody live in Edinburgh and go to the protest? That would have been pretty cool. Okay. Especially hearing the bagpipes. Oh my God, they were totally drowning them out. It was just freaking hilarious. All right, just might happen. All right, so I got 3 cards. Let's see if we pulled the right one. Okay, so did you guys want me to read all 3 of these cards for just might happen? No. Okay, what about the card on the right? Yes, you want me to read that one? Okay, what about the middle? No, the card on the left. So that was the first one that kind of popped out. Okay, so 2 cards for this. Did you want me to pull any others? No. So they said yes and no. Okay. All right, so we'll get rid of that one. Okay, so the first message is, again, just might happen. This is a 7 card, soul healing, align with your essence, see your true colors. Look at that pretty unicorn. Soul healing, just might happen. That's cool. So maybe it's like soul healing of the collective, you know? And open your heart. Here, so love yourself again, you guys. So the message is still there. Dare to be vulnerable. Okay. Open your heart. Love yourself. Dare to be vulnerable. Okay, so let's see what they have to say about that. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and listen to my video now for the first 3 messages to find out if it's opal or emerald. Actually, I could look in my book, I guess. I wrote down opal, but I don't know. Now I feel like it was emerald. Okay, so 16. All right. Again, we're talking about just might happen. Let's see what the message is here. Okay, so heal your soul. Relax and contemplate the vastness and wonder of your soul. Call your unicorn and feel its presence. Ask it to reflect your magnificence back to you. Look directly into its eyes. Sense or see the true colors of your soul reflected. Let the healing flow in. Wow. I just feel like this, because that message had to do with Trump, I feel like this is a collective message. But let me know what you think. Your guidance now is to ask your unicorn to work with you both in and out of your conscious awareness, that's really interesting because of what we were talking about in terms of conscious awareness here. Because there's things that I have very little memory of things when I was younger. So it was either that my brain wasn't being fed the right foods, which is probably the most likely thing. I'm absolutely certain of that. And what I needed, my body, not necessarily somebody else, but for my body, or I had things that I just didn't want to, I don't know. And so I find that really interesting. And so your guidance now is to ask your unicorns to work with you both in and out of your conscious awareness. So it's just a very similar message. To heal all that needs to be released and purified. So just might happen. So it's really interesting because I think we are at a crossroad. What I'm feeling, and I'll be interested to read the August astrology reports, I feel like we're at this crossroad of our individual healing, because the first message was spend time within, spend time with yourself, having solo dates. We're at this kind of the more we do that, the more we can heal the collective, the more we can start to see the pain of the collective, right? The more we spend time with ourselves, see ourselves, heal ourselves, then we can start healing the collective because we can start to see what the issues are. We're more open to it too, because we're not going to be traumatized every time we see trauma in the collective. We can almost, help them raise their vibration rather than feel sorry for them, which is not a good place for a survivor to be, is people just feeling sorry for them. Now, many of you don't know this. I've mentioned it before, but I had breast cancer when I was 32. And when I would tell people, like, they would get this look on their face that was so devastating, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, to be honest. But of course, it's a natural reaction. I didn't like people feeling sorry for me, especially if I told them, I don't really talk about it anymore because it was a situation that happened to me. I don't even call myself a survivor. I don't like that personally, because I mean, it was what it was. It was, if I would have broke my leg, I would have just healed my leg, and you know what I mean? So now I know that's different for everybody, and that's totally okay. But, even like a year later, when I could see the real benefits emotionally and spiritually for me having had breast cancer, that experience, people would still feel sorry for me. I'm like, wait a minute, it was like one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it helped me calm down like any stuff that I was like obsessing over, that was dumb, it helped me, like, it shook me out of that. So I think the more we can do this for ourselves and heal our own stuff, then we'll be able to help the collective without just sitting in the pity of it, sitting in the shame of it. Like, because, people feel shame when stuff happens to them. That's why a lot of survivors of sexual abuse don't come out, or rape, I don't even know if I can say that on this channel. Cut, clear, cancel, I guess. RAPE, But, and, that's a whole thing. So anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. Interesting. Okay, so soul healing. Okay, open your heart. Anybody still here? Anybody? All right, open your heart. Let's see. Yeah, again, this is love yourself, dare to be vulnerable. So most important of all, appreciate yourself, be kind to yourself. Again, we're still getting these messages, all right? Feel your heart becoming warm and expansive. Your unicorn is reminding you that when you love and value yourself, any lower emotions dissolve in the glow of your inner worth. So as we start to write down some of the things that have caused us pain in the past on the outside, it will help us dissolve those things, right? It'll help us see it, dissolve it, and help us develop more of our inner worth, I think. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. That probably should be said, right? I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Okay. Opening your heart is the greatest possible way to light up your journey. Oh, that's cool. Opening your heart is the greatest possible way to light up your journey. For an open heart attracts help, kindness, true friendships, and all the support you need from the human, animal, and angelic worlds. Cool. Okay, so I am going to put, this is interesting because just might happen. It's just interesting that that's the message for just might happen. So, and it may be, it's interconnected, right? Are we seeing the interconnectedness here? I'm seeing it more and more. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I am just going to put open your heart. If you're following on, I know I have people follow along doing this, so what are you writing? Love yourself. I'm going to put that because we're still getting that love yourself message. And I do like dare to be vulnerable. Dare to be vulnerable. And they did want us to use the unicorns, right? So I'm going to put in call call upon your unicorn this month. So now this month seems like it might be a good month to be working with your personal unicorn. Okay. All right. Okay, last but not least, so this is the 6th message for the month. And then on Sunday, I'll do the last 3. Okay, they have 9 messages for us. So this is interesting. Why are you just night now? Is what they, why are you just night now? Okay, so then I was like, well, what? Huh? What do you mean by that? So then I did ask using the dowsing rods, and they did say just doing it at night. So why they spelled it that way, I'm not sure. So why are you just doing this at night? Okay, so, but the weird thing is this is the only deck they wanted me to use. So I don't know how much we're going to get from this, but what do you guys think? Like, what messages are you hearing right now? What are you intuiting from that message for August? Why are you just night now? Why are you just doing this at night now? Okay, it's interesting, right? All right, so what messages do you guys have? Like, I don't know. This deck I don't know how they're going to give us messages about this from this deck, but why are you just night now? Whoa, that's way too many. We'll have to start over, guys. You want me to, I don't know. I'll pull those 2 just in case. Okay. Why are you, oh, that one popped. Oh, okay. All right. So funny. Yes. Okay. All right. I just saw what this is. No need to worry. So why are you doing this at night? I said, are you worrying at night? Do we have people who are worrying at night here? Okay. I am not. I am sleeping really well, but, okay. So it's funny because I was like, when I was like, oh, I get it. And then this card popped out. Yes. So let me just make sure that this is what they wanted. Aha! That makes a lot of sense to me. So are you guys saying, why are you just night now? So are you for taking care of ourselves, are you wanting people to consider how much they're worrying at night? Yes. Okay. Okay. So there's some stress at night for people when they're supposed to be sleeping. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. So that sounds like something that might be really good. You know what? You could do something like this and literally, it doesn't have to be about trauma or anything. It could literally be like, what is causing you stress here? And then frankly, you could write that in and then just what doesn't cause you stress, and then black these out, cover over your words, and then just focus on, or just color this in. You could do that too. There's so many ways you could use something like this, you know? Okay, well, I hope this was helpful. It certainly was for me. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk through all of my thoughts and my connections and just being here. And yeah, thanks for listening. So have a great one, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.